Hey, welcome back to another Friday Night Disaster Report for the end of January 2019. And busy this week doing all kinds of different things. But anyways, we'll give you a little overview of some of the stuff we've been working on shop project wise, and a little bit of maintenance on some of our mechanical characters. And anyways, yeah, we'll just give you a walk around here. And over there, I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyways, we're putting together a Skidoo engine, an 800 Polaris. So there's the base there, and there's some new piston kit. The jugs are in the parts washer. We had to cover it all up because we had some fabrication to do with the bandsaw. So we'll show you a few things we did to Miss Massey here. She's been working hard this winter plowing all that snow, so the noise you hear is the pump running there. We're pumping out a oil tote that we got on the trailer for the furnace over there. I think she's getting pretty near dry, but anyways, lighting ain't the best in here, but we put new spark plugs in, and the other ones were vintage, almost original 1952, I think. They weren't burned up, but only had 20 thousandths gap, which was for the old 6-volt system, and she's running a 12-volt battery, even though she's running a 6-volt coil, which wasn't unheard of. They run a heater, resistor on them, but this one doesn't seem to get hot running. But once we get the alternator working, it may get hot. We'll have to switch over to a 12-volt. And I got a resistorless one here that might work. So anyways, we put spark plugs in it. This number 2 cylinder had oil coming out around the plug, so it might be pumping a bit of oil, I don't know for sure, but I figured put plugs in it. We've gapped them out to 35 thousandths, give her a hotter spark, and she definitely got a bit more bark now than what she did. Still fires up good. We mounted the coil here better. It was kind of just hung in there. The clamp wasn't tight on it, and we switched polarity on the coil. It already had a 12-volt battery in it, and it was still running positive ground. So we just switched polarity because the starter, of course, will run the right way no matter what, because it's the winding of the motor. It's not the polarity that affects the starter. And we pulled the oil filter out that looked like it might have been vintage 1952. It was a steel canister filter with no numbers on it. But we found a lubrifier number that we could cross over to a number that our supplier can get for us, even though they didn't have it in stock. But they did have the spark plugs in stock, believe it or not. Had 4 of them. So anyways, so we changed the oil, drained her out, put in 040, went a little old school on it, put some ATF in to wash her out because she hasn't had an oil change since who knows when. And we had some STP we got here in some deal, another, so I put a jug of that in just because. And that's what we did on this side of her. And we got the dash pulled back here. We put a new switch in. We're putting some lights on it here. Actually, I got LED lights to go in those rubber fixtures, and we got an actual LED light. I'll go show you that from the other side. So we're actually gonna have lights on the old girl, and we'll walk around the front here. We don't break our neck tripping over stuff. And let's see, we put this GM alternator on here, the old style off 76 Chev that we pulled the engine out of for the big toe. So we built a bracket here for it, and little offset on this side welded on, and then just out and bent 90 degrees and out onto here. And we got a piece of threaded rod in there right now, but we're going to get a 6-inch bolt put through there. And then this is threaded 3/8, but the hole in the original bracket is 5/16, so we just put a 5/16 bolt through. And the pulleys are the same, so we just put the original pulley. It was on the generator on the alternator, and seems to work good. A little bit, don't take much tension on the belt. So anyways, we got to lengthen our wire here, power wire. We got to lengthen it to hook it on to our power stud, and then we got to run a second wire down from the ignition switch to turn on the field connection on the alternator. So that's this afternoon's project maybe. And anyways, so the dash we got pulled off here. We had to put a new switch in, light switch in, the other one was seized up, and the wires are broke off, of course, running out to the lights, so we're going to redo those. And then you may have noticed that this was all The hydraulic levers were floppy before, so we built a little bracket here. It goes up underneath there, bolts on, and then bolts onto the fender down here. Just sturdy up the hydraulic controls so they stay where we want them. Of course, got another rubber utility light on here. We're going to put the LED bulbs in. They just got the 4411s in there now. And we got a fancy LED on here because we had it, and not really proper vintage, but it'll do the trick. We may put the steel lights back on here because I've got them with the LEDs in it, and then switch one of the rubber utilities around to here. And we don't need a whole lot of backup light, but anyways, and then we started fixing the steering wheel. We're putting the JB weld to it here, and down here we'll get her built up with JB weld and sand it down, and that'll get rid of the cracks, and JB weld's a pretty permanent fix on there. And so yeah, with all that we had to retune the carburetor a little bit because she's sparking better and everything else. So let's jump up here, see if we're out of oil here. Yeah, she's sucking air. So we'll turn the pump off. Another 100 gallons of oil in the tank, courtesy of one of the local farmers. And then we got a barrel here. The guy went to load it onto another fellow's truck and poked a hole through the bottom of the barrel with his fork. So we had to go and rescue that. And didn't make any mess anyways, but at least we didn't. What's going on outside? A little bit of snow. We got some rain last night. Just wonderful. Goes from +5 to -30 every 3 days. So anyways, we got let's see if anything new out here. I don't know. The had a bus in this week, had to fix the clutch pedal on it. It was all bent out of shape. Wouldn't hit the clutch release or clutch safety switch. There's the middle toe there, just patiently waiting for another job. Got that white Ford we were working on, I think it was in last week's video maybe, at 11 over there with a 3.7 V6 with very low compression, so it won't start. And so the customer's supposed to tell me what he wants to do, and we've decided we're going to try to fix the fenders on the old Datsun here. You can see the top of the fenders is not in good shape, actually the whole fender in, but we're going to try to do the metal work on them and get them back in shape, because it's we can get aftermarket ones, but they're quite expensive, hard to get. So I don't want to spend $1,000 on fenders, but I might. But we'll try the metal work. If it turns out decent, then we'll go with that. If it doesn't, then we'll have to eventually buy a set. There are supposed to be some fiberglass ones in existence. I might look into getting those. Anyways, that's what's going on outside here. I thought I seen the quality control officer running around here somewhere, but must be camera shy today. The new pest control officer's getting a little bit more friendly lately. At least she's not running and hiding every time you look at her. But that one we got to do a tune-up on, and there's a noise in the right front, they say. But it's not licensed, so I can't really take it for a test drive beyond the yard, so that can be a little hard to find. So anyways, we're going to be working on Miss Massey, try to get the lights working on it this afternoon. I think that'll be about it. Maybe do a little bit more work on the steering wheel. And we did some work on the exhaust, put a big tall stack on her there. We might cut that off a little shorter, but the problem was, the way it was before, is whenever you were driving into the wind, all the exhaust blew right in your face. She was dead set level with your face when that the length of the stack was before, so I got her up out of face height anyways. But anyways, I think that's it for this week. I can't think of anything else going on. Anyways, regular work scheduled in and so on and so forth, and getting caught up on some of the projects, and still got a few big ones to do. But anyways, I guess that's it for this week.